Hi Cambridge, my name is Chantel Fierro, Shanti for short, and I'm going to be doing a director's commentary on my film, Fighting Innocence. Before we get started, I would like to tell you what my movie is going to be about. It is basically a drama geared towards early teens through elderly, late adulthood. Anyone can watch this film. It may be too strong for children under the age of 13, which is why I suggested it would be rated PG-13 if it was ever released. And basically what it is about Madison Atkins, played by my cousin Azul Turdicus, shown here. She is an 11-year-old girl who has just been drafted and is 1 month away from becoming a soldier in a world war that the United States has placed itself in, and there have been so many casualties, and it's kind of just following her a month before she gets drafted, while she's there, and when she's back, and all the psychological effects that it has on both her and her family. Basically, since it is a drama, I've used some genre characteristics, one being a relatable character in the form of Madison Atkins. She's only 11 years old, and I know it's not as realistic for an 11-year-old to be going to war. However, the emotions that she is facing go hand on hand with the emotions that most soldiers are facing when they're about to be drafted, or veterans that have fought in the war and their family members can understand. One way that I am challenging the genre characteristic is by making it based on a dystopian society. Most dramas are based in real life. They don't really have many fictional aspects to them. However, my film is mainly based on emotions, so having Madison feel the emotions that she feels prior to going to war are the realistic and relatable parts of that genre characteristic. Another popular genre convention that I used is a strong script. I spent a long time writing the script for the voiceovers and the newscast, and I had many of my peers that helped me with it re-record in order to get the proper sound that I wanted to get for this video. I'm going to show you an example of this by minimizing my screen and showing my movie opening, and so we can dissect it together. The news reports at the beginning are meant to establish the setting of the film and what they are living in right now by giving all the basic information needed, like the death toll and why, and that, for example, the amount of casualties and the reaction that the people are having to the draft age being lowered, and even the draft age being lowered. In terms of the voiceover, I wanted to make it both informational enough to make the audience want to keep watching, as well as emotionally engaging. When it comes to representation, my film is meant to represent war in a very negative fashion, showing right in the beginning with the protests of lowering the draft age and the amount of casualties in the war, as well as the sort of more bluish tones that I'm using to establish the mise-en-scène and how it's kind of a cold world because of the war, as well as showing what happens to Amy, which is Madison's sister, showing that she died. It just kind of briefly touches on that right when Madison is looking at Amy's door, remembering her, and also in the brief conversation that she had with her brother in the morning. All these things combined are meant to represent war in a negative fashion and also show the effects of what war can do on a family. For example, losing their own child or losing a sibling, which can be extremely traumatizing to anyone, especially losing it to combat. Another thing that I did that went kind of against the typical characteristics was having a female lead in a war setting. This is a child, she's 11 years old, and she's a girl, and most audiences are used to seeing movies such as Saving Private Ryan that have grown-up male leads as a protagonist. So my reasoning behind this decision was basically, one, to up the shock factor and to bring awareness to the fact that there are child soldiers, both male and female, all around the world. Also to kind of go along with the times that we're living in right now. Right now is a very revolutionary time for women. The women empowerment movement is very high right now, and having a female lead will definitely shake the typical status quo that is associated with the leads for drama movies, especially drama movies that have violence in them, but I feel that it would be well received by audiences. The film will definitely be a reality check for audiences who are watching, knowing that we are sending our children out to war. That's kind of what the message is. Like, we send our children out to war every day, even if the children are 17 or 21 or grown men, they are still people that we send out to war, and having it as a child kind of emphasizes the fact that these people are being robbed of their innocence, hence the title Fighting Innocence. And it is also meant to shine a light on the child soldiers that are being exploited right now in third world countries. The film will mainly be shown in film festivals because people go there kind of to discover new talent, and also YouTube Red is very big on the movie platform now. For example, The Thinning and Dance Camp are movies that have been very popular on YouTube Red, and I think that getting my movie onto YouTube Red would probably be essential in the worldwide distribution in order to relate to audiences worldwide. In terms of my skills were definitely challenged throughout this process. I became better at filming shots, and throughout my entire year in the media studies course, I improved my shots with the camera. I improved working with the camera, I improved getting what shots I wanted to get and getting the emotions that I wanted to get. My time management skills were definitely put to the test, but they definitely improved, especially because I was working with children, and these children need to be tutored. They have school, they have homework, they have extracurricular activities like soccer or dance class that they have to get to. So coordinating their schedules with mine and being able to get all the shots that I needed to get, even though I did need to reshoot, once was definitely hard on me and them to get coordinated times. Another thing I learned with working with children is that it is harder to keep them focused and harder to make them act in a more serious role, especially if they're not like well versed in the drama department. But once I told them what I wanted and once I directed them in the right direction, they were really helpful and they really gave the performances that I needed them to give. One thing that's not really my forte is editing. That was very difficult for me throughout this whole year. It's been a difficult process to learn how to edit, hence why I gave myself a lot of time to edit and re-edit, and I got a lot of opinions from friends who aren't in media studies just to see if they understood what was happening, and I changed whatever they wanted me to change. And I also, in class, we also had a kind of a discussion on what route each person, like what route our movie is going on, and that also really helped. I made a blog post about that. One of my classmates, Nate, really helped me in coming up with a new beginning for my story that would make it more interesting than a cliche. In terms of integrating technology, I had various technological aspects. For example, I used iMovie in order to edit. I used my Mac that had iMovie in order to edit everything. And I used my iPhone 7 to record all the diegetic sound and to record the voiceovers and the newscasting. I used the Canon T6i to film all of the footage for my movie, and I'm also filming on it right now. Overall, I had an amazing time working with my little cousins, and researching on this was really enlightening. And my main goal was just to shine a light on the issues that are going on in the world right now. There are child soldiers really being out there, really being robbed of their innocence, and just to like show the negative aspect of war and just how terrible it is. And that was my main purpose, just to shine a light and just to learn as much about this topic as I could. I had an amazing time working with the people in my media studies class and getting advice from them, and it was just a huge learning experience, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.